What's up, guys? Welcome back to Life So Crazy. It's the Vongola Boss here. On this Twitter edition of Why We Can't Have Nice Things, we're looking at this seemingly innocuous and wholesome tweet that went viral, that like a moth to a flame attracted the eternally miserable. So the tweet reads, quote, "All men just have perverted fantasies," unquote. The average male fantasy. And it's a clip from a romance anime called, and I'm probably gonna pronounce this wrong, Josie, the Tiger and the Fish. And it's a montage of a young man and a young woman who's wheelchair bound, going out on dates, movies, walks in the park, the beach, aquarium, so on and so forth. Pretty standard stuff in anime. I've never seen this one before, but with how much anime I have watched in my lifetime, I might not be able to knock out a season of 12 or 24 episodes in a day like in my prime, but I'm an anime veteran.
To this day! To this day!
And best believe I know ball. I'm guessing the plot goes something like she is a shut-in because she's wheelchair bound. The young man enters her life and starts looking after her, and he becomes the impetus for her exploring the world again. And in the process, they fall in love. If you've seen this before, let me know if I'm on or off target. See, when it comes to stuff like this, the Japanese just don't miss. Because just like food, which they have no business going as hard as they do, they'll depict activities that you usually take for granted and make a spectacle out of them. Cause see, this stuff right here has to be some form of propaganda. Say I won't find a girl in a wheelchair and walk her through the park right now. But like I mentioned earlier, there were plenty of people who drew the weirdest type of conclusions from this clip. Nah, this is a creepy fantasy. You just want someone who can't leave.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
So close. This is fetish content.
Pardon me? Are you dumb?
Always vulnerable, always happy, always needs you. Pretty perverted.
What you want?
You fetishize disabled women because you're narcissistically attracted to the idea of women being forced to depend on you. That's a little girl. This is weird. My brother in Christ, she's
24.
It's fine to love the disabled. I didn't need to remind you that. Wow, sentence structure is abysmal here. But to glorify it, this anime is almost certainly Marxist propaganda.
What do you mean? How? How have you... Ah, man.
This isn't a fantasy. This is the life my wife and I live. I promise you. Nobody wants this. Nobody dreams of pain like this. We endure it because we love each other, but don't romanticize it. Don't turn it into a meme. If you think the fantasy being referred to here is having a crippled partner, you failed the test. A lot of guys bail at the sight of mild mental illness, and you expect me to believe that the average guy can handle having a physically disabled partner? LMFAO, all right, dog.
Well, let's be nice.
Yeah.
Let's be nice. We don't have to go there. I mean, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it. I mean, good Lord.
Well, to be fair, mental illness is a lot different from a physical disability. The lengths you have to go to accommodate the former versus the latter are miles apart. I'd say I'm surprised by the responses, but I'm really not. The insanity on display really stems from broken families and just traumatic experiences. I knew it was cooked when a few years ago, the Japanese McDonald's Twitter account was doing a promotion of basic families eating together, and people were having meltdowns because of it. Now, is it rage bait? Plausibly. Is it stupidity? Totally. Is it projecting? Absolutely. Now, I'm not going to be one to romanticize the reality of dating someone with a disability, because trust and believe, it is not all sunshine and rainbows, but you'd be hard-pressed to convince me that media that depicts this type of relationship in a positive light, especially with the way it's done here, is a bad thing. But that's just looking at it at face value. I imagine anyone who's well-adjusted and is not in need of copious amounts of psychotherapy did not look at this at face value and understood the point of this average male fantasy, which is just finding someone that you love and care for. Now, would I say this is the average male fantasy? Not necessarily. I need more effort we ball, run up a bag, conquer something, go on an adventure, put on a mask, become a hero, fight crime. But I understand the appeal of this fantasy.
It's a peaceful life.
On the topic of well-adjusted people, there were many expressing confusion on how people drew the conclusions they did from this tweet. Case in point, people are calling this a fantasy. I don't get it, dude. Online discourse about any wholesome male fantasies always get warped into some incredibly evil shit. and I just do not understand. Let me break it down for you real quick. It's your typical man bad. I default to the worst possible scenarios when men are involved because of my less than stellar interactions with men. Like if you saw that clip and the first thing that came to mind is she has no way of escaping, you just told on yourself. Your perception is highly skewed, and I hope you find healing. I also hope you find healthier thoughts to entertain, because while people were looking at this confused how he got warped into some really dark stuff, to me, it made all the sense in the world. Because if you look for problems, you will find them. Let me nerd out real quick, because one thing I like to do is research how the mind works and like see how you can program yourself and all that. So we all have this thing called the reticular activating system, right? And it's basically a bundle of neurons in your brainstem that basically act as a filter for what you notice consciously. Let's break it down in video game terms. If you've ever played The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, early on in the game, you unlock what is called a Sheikah Slate and a Sheikah Sensor ability. And you can set it to detect certain things in the game, and it'll start beeping whenever you're in the vicinity of it. So as you're walking through this giant world, there's so many things that you can miss, but that specific thing you're on the lookout for, you'll get notified whenever it's close to you. You can also think of it this way. You know when people buy a new car or you're thinking of getting a new car, all of a sudden you start seeing it on the road everywhere? It's not as if a bunch of people started buying that car and driving it around for you to see. No, that car was always out in the wild as much as you're seeing now. You just, in a way, have your radar tuned to it. So I say that all to say, these people, due to unfortunate circumstances, which I'm not going to downplay because it's real, but whether it be because of bad experiences, propaganda, this, that, and the third, they have this horrible perception on the brain, which is why they see a video like this and immediately draw those conclusions. What you focus on the most is what you will find. Online meltdowns like these have been going on for quite some time now, but it just reminds me of why I never wanted anime to go mainstream. Because for all its quirks and questionable artistic choices, at least by Western standards, Japan, as far as I know, is one of the last bastions putting out wholesome entertainment devoid of the foolishness. Like, these two aren't married in the anime, I'm guessing, but it does a great job showing off devotion. You know, the whole for better, for worse, for richer, for poor, in sickness and in health, until death do us part thing. And I'll be the last person to knock fantasy, because for a lot of these miserable people, it'll be the only source of happiness they can experience in their lives. This past weekend, I went down to Florida with some homies, and I completely detached from the internet, social media, and all that stuff. And bro, when I tell you, when I got back and started seeing what goofies online were saying, like, my tolerance for it is gone. Only then did I realize just how lost in the sauce I had been. So let's wrap this video up on a positive note. Go watch some wholesome anime, and feel free to drop your suggestions in the comments. What's got the anime community talking nowadays? I heard Solo Leveling's been good, which I'm not surprised by. The manhwa is amazing. I can't wait till Grand Blue Season 2 comes out. That's going to be hilarious. And if you've seen it before, let me know if Josie, the Tiger and the Fish is actually good. I might just have to watch it this weekend. Over here, we listen and we don't gatekeep. Go turn your fantasies into reality and avoid depressing soul snatchers like the plague. With that said, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new, and check out the 2 videos showing up on the screen to see more Life So Crazy. It's been the Vongola Boss, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.